Hello there, and thank you so kindly for tuning in to Brown Eyes on this beautiful, amazing, wonderful day. Because remember, so as a man thinketh in his heart, then so is he. We are to think upon things that bring us a good report. We are to speak things that are not as though they were already. Thank you so kindly for all of my viewers, all of my subscribers, all of whomever that chooses to stop by and chop it up with brown eyes. Yep, you got the black screen tonight, y'all, because it's 1:33 a.m. and I'm not dressed, but I just had something in my spirit I want to share with the collective. Um, Please feel free to like, share, subscribe, thumbs up this video, leave me a comment. But the thing that Brown Eyes wanted to talk about, I just wanted to encourage you guys, especially divines in separations of any kind. We know that most of these crises, they're not new. There's always been some type of obstacle on the land, but it seems like when there's no partnerships within the homes, that it seems like it's going to be even a bigger burden to have to deal with, because we know that the divine masculines and the divine feminines are not together. That's only one small aspect of the overall picture. Um, I assume that it is a worldwide curfew because here in the state of Arkansas, our curfew, they just ordered a curfew, of course, from you can't be out later than 12 o'clock midnight. I think it's from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. But hey, I'm 48, and all my life, I've never experienced that. But I do understand, looking at it spiritually, that you have to go through the negative in order to build the positive, and there is a lot of spiritual warfare going on. So, and the things that are going on now would just prompt you to be fearful. And that is not how we should live, because it reminds me of a lot of strong passages in the Bible. Like, just because things happen, negative things happen for other people, does not mean you should adopt that same negative energy upon your own self. And I believe that there is a greater negative force at play here. That's what I've always been talking about, even before I started reading tarot cards. But, people are so, you know, concerned with their life, and the powers that be has it so manipulated that you have to stay focused on the things that are not bringing you spiritual growth, like the technology. Everybody's so into technology now that no one's dealing with the bigger picture. There's things taking place before our eyes, and it's not to prompt fear in you, but it's to prompt you to go within and to find the answers spiritually, because this is a spiritual walk, even though we're having a human experience. Because um, it can get kind of overwhelming, but it's to promote fear in you. And I don't want, I can't stop you from feeling the way that you feel, but I am encouraging you to not be moved by what you see, and not be moved by what you hear. Now, it's okay to be educated and to be informed about the things that's going on, because to be honest with you, I didn't even know there was a curfew. To my daughter told me. She said, "Girl, there's a curfew." And she said, "Mama, there's a curfew. The curfew starts." And I'm like, "What curfew?" And I was so amazed that they actually put a curfew. Now, here in my hometown, all of the businesses are shutting down early. Uh, well, most of the businesses are open, but not to the public. So, and when you hear the media, and you have to be careful what you allow in your energy, in your spirit, because if you look at too much of the news media, because we know that we as the people, we don't control the media and the information that they put out, nor can we verify all of the information. We just take what they say. So if you go by what they're telling you, it can cause a mass panic here. But the media wants you to think that there are no supplies on the shelves, and everybody's looming, everybody's gonna die, and just everyone's gonna just come out pretty negative. But everybody's living their life if you know how to Stay in that positive energy or in that positive secret place. And if you know that without a shadow of a doubt, regardless to what happens, that you are in a safe, protected place, you have to know that. Because, you know, as a divine feminine, because I am a divine feminine, we don't have divine masculines to depend on. And to be honest, most divine feminines are mothers, they're single parents, they're doing it alone, and their divine masculines are trying to find themselves. So they're probably in some type of karmic relationships, or they're going through their transformation times here, and they're not thinking about the stability of something that's a little bit more spiritually benefiting them, because most men are lost within the external or their flesh. So what I'm saying is that if you don't have that partner in your life, because most of the homes come from one family homes, we know that most of the homes come from the single mothers. Then you have to have something stronger to lean on. Now, you know, I used to be a Christian, but I came into the truth and the knowledge that Christianity was just a system. It was a control system to keep the people controlled in a certain type of way. But if you don't have, you know, you can't run to the churches now because there's so much sin and everything that's going on in the world you're going to find in the church, put it like that. So why run to that place when you're not getting spiritually fed? So I think it's designed that you're going to have to find a way to go spiritually within to get the answers that you're looking for in order to make it externally in this life, because it's only a test. It's a spiritual test to test your human experience so that you can know the reality of everything. So, you know, like they're talking about the cases in some countries, and I even saw a quick little video where they was talking about either in Korea, where they're saying that their death toll or their coronavirus cases were going down. They were declining. And I found that kind of strange because I thought that that was the first place that it started from. But it seems like someone or the higher power, the powers that be, the people that run this whole land, believe it or not, they're all people that run this place, you know, came up with this plan. Because if you notice, your president also issued out a state of emergency, declaring a state of emergency totaling out either $40 billion, 40 or $60 billion for this coronavirus. Now, isn't that something? Now, it's so amazing how they can come up with so much money for a virus. And then, as I begin to do a little bit more digging, they're trying to say that the coronavirus is nothing more than the influenza. It's just like the flu or like a real bad cold. But you know, the powers that be know how to manipulate the situation and manipulate the mass of people because they're the ones that's running it. So I'm saying all that to say is that don't be moved by what you see. You have to know without a shadow of a doubt that you are protected. You have to know without a shadow of a doubt that your family is protected. Uh, I feel like, you can have your dreams and your goals to reach for, but it seems like the powers that be have a different objective in mind, that it may kind of compromise some things because, you know, in certain places they're asking people not to even leave the state. So if they're controlling your movement and they're controlling how you live, and the news is controlling how you think, then it seems like we're forced to kind of step back and reevaluate some things. So the divine feminines, I believe in the divine feminines. It's really a whole collective, but it's like divines. I call them divines because I feel like they're on a higher spiritual path than a ordinary person that's not seeking any type of spiritual uplifting or any type of spiritual healing or spiritual knowledge. Because just because divine feminines are aware and they're growing spiritually, it doesn't mean that other women are growing spiritually and trying to find out things spiritually. You know what I'm saying? But it's like it's an individual thing. It's like you have to know what is best for you. And it's like, are you going to follow the mass of people, or are you going to follow what you know is to be truth spiritually? It's like, if you haven't already been practicing a very prayerful, if you will, or a very meditating lifestyle, then it seems like that any type of crisis that arise, you will always be moved, you will always be afraid, and you will always be afraid to live your life. So it's like, I used to hear this saying, and I used to always hear Christians say this when I was really in church, because I grew up in church, because I was forced to go to church as a child, like the majority of the world was. But I used to always hear this saying by Christians is, you better stay prayed up. But I had to come into the realization that there's no such thing as being prayed up. But I do believe that there is a such thing as being continuously prayerful and stand in a continuously meditating way, because things are always coming at you energetically and spiritually. you know we disregard it as, just having a bad day, or you could be a woman and say maybe you're about to have your period or something, or you know what I'm saying, or something of the external. But really it is the spiritual forces, because remember, we're in a spiritual warfare. We do not wrestle against flesh and blood. We're wrestling against principalities, wicked things in high places, and the high places happen to be the powers that be that runs everything. So it may be a little bit harder to, um, so to speak, find or connect with your divine counterpart now, because the divine feminines would go within, they would go to their secret spiritual place. But the divine masculines, I feel, will go deeper and deeper and deeper into this matrix way of living, and into the negative aspect of life, instead of clinging to something spiritual. Because remember, the women are the spiritual, we're the nurturer, we're the emotions of the relationship, while the men are supposed to be the masculine, so to speak, the protection of it. So if you don't have your masculine there to physically protect you, then you have to stay in your spiritual secret place so that you can be protected spiritually. And I think being protected spiritually supersedes any type of masculine that can physically protect you. Um, it's sad, really, because most of the homes are not together anyway. So we don't have our kings and our queens coming together in unity like we should be, because it's so divided now. But I don't want it to discourage us all, because there is a bigger picture here. I believe these things that are taking place is just to usher you in to your divine purpose, because we all have them. Now, a lot of times, in being in search of your divine counterpart can kind of knock you off your goals, so to speak, because your emotions are involved, and there is a spiritual connection there. But individually, you do have your own purpose. What is your purpose? Have you forgotten about your divine purpose? What are you supposed to do that's going to help everyone else spiritually? I know we all have them. It's just time to tap into it, especially with things coming into place that are negative. And I don't believe that this virus is as severe and negative as they say it is, but all they have to do is just put it out there, and tell us what they want us to know, and prompt us to feel the way they want us to feel. And then they will have a mass epidemic of fear. They're just ushering in the energy of fear, because remember, um, if you've sown so much and you haven't reaped it, or if you've sown good things and you've reaped negative things, then it is time for you to reap the positive things now. So it's kind of like the first will become the last, and the last will become the first, because we've always said that. But now it is time for you to use your spiritual gifts. One person can't do it, but I mean, one person can do so much. But imagine if the collective was on one accord, meditating and staying in that secret spiritual place to bring about a positive change within the divine unions. I believe that if the divine unions were together on one accord, the way the Creator it intended for it to be, then a lot of these things wouldn't happen the way that they did, because who fights the world's battles? I don't think we have a mediator, a physical mediator that stands in the bridge for us as a mass or as a collective to stand up for us, for our integrity, or for our main objective, if you will, or on our behalf. It's always been about the powers that be. Their agenda has always been pushed, but I feel like if the divine masculines and the divine feminines were on one accord, the way they were in the ancient days. And if you don't know about the ancient days, because the Bible was created based on pre-written things and things that had already taken place, it's just a rewrite of something that was already written. But back in the ancient days, they united. Everybody knew their place and their position, and they got it done as a unit. So the reason why, I feel one of the reasons why it's so much turmoil and so much confusion and so much chaos going on, is because there's no unity. The kings are not with their queens, so the queens are forced to do it alone. And the divine masculines really don't understand that when they're not with their divine feminines, they have it so much harder out there. And they're constantly creating other karmic cycles and other unnecessary karmic toxic soul ties, because they're trying to fit this image that the powers that be have set them to fulfill. And it's false. It's not the truth. It's all bullshit, really. So I know it's late. Well, it's 1:50 a.m., but I just had to encourage you guys. Uh, YouTube up top, I would love for you to thumbs up this video, leave me a comment, chop it up with me. But what do you think? Are you afraid? I mean, do you have a plan? Do you have an escape route if it calls for one? I have to share this story real quick because I was about to wrap it up. But let me say this. When I first came into the truth of the reality of the matrix and all of the things that we were lied to about, because there's so many layers of lies that we were taught. Um, I first started listening to the Black Hebrew Israelites and those camps. And at first, it was kind of refreshing because I was learning a lot of things that I didn't know, but it kind of resonated with me. But as I began to follow them and listen to them, it seemed like they was imposing even more fear upon me, meaning that they were telling you that America was Babylon and that America was falling, that you need to leave America as soon as you can because things were about to take place. And if you want to escape this big turmoil, or this big come down, if you will, this big destruction, that you have to leave America. You have to go to Africa, you have to go to some other country just to live a life in peace, but leave America. And I have to be honest, that really scared me, because I thought, like, wow, you mean to tell me, so if you are paying your bills here in America, and you're trying to keep head above waters, and you're trying to make it stretch, or you're just trying to provide for yourself and your family, how in the hell are you gonna uproot your family, take y'all ass way to another country, just to not be a part of Babylon when she falls? So there was a lot of stupidity, but that's one of the things that they were forcing upon people, was fear. And the sad part about that was that not only did they force fear upon you, they exhorted themselves like they was the shit while they forced fear. I mean, if you ever saw any of those videos with those camps standing out there on the corners, reading the Bibles and telling you what it is and telling you what you should and shouldn't do, they're like a bunch of idiots standing out there, because they don't, it's like, I understand what they're trying to do, but a lot of them are divine masculines, but they're distorted because they're still lost in their flesh. And so I'm saying that to say is, If I would have been so foolish, because I got word that a lot of people were actually rushing off to Africa and to in any other country that they could get to just to escape Babylon and the falling and tearing away of this great world, of this great place we call America. They were fleeing this place because they wanted to escape it. And so when I had to really go within, and I didn't go to a camp to get this, I had to go within myself. And I had to really ask my creator what was the truth and what was the reality of everything, because I had children and I didn't want my children to be afraid. And I couldn't see myself hauling my children off to another fucking country, excuse me, just because some idiot assholes standing on a corner yelling, telling me I need to do so. So, what my creator told me was that if there's going to be some destruction, it's not going to just be in one place, it is going to be globally, and no one will escape it. So if no one could physically escape that, then I might as well stand still, stand in my power, stand in my know, hold on to my faith, and trust into my creator. And that's what I'm telling you all to do too. People are going to tell you things, and it may trigger you to be afraid. It may have you feeling gloomy and gloomy and feeling like there's no hope for yourself, but that's a lie. All of your dreams and your hopes and all of the things you've always wanted for yourself and your family, hold on to that energy. Because if you hold on to positive energy, positive things will manifest in your life. It may not manifest in your neighbor's life because they may be on some old negative bullshit, but as long as you hold on to what is real and what the creator tells us to do, because even in the Bible, Jesus told them, he said, look, I lay before you um, life and death today. Choose life. There is power, but he's telling you, I lay before you power. I lay before you life and death this day. Choose life. So choosing life means you have to think upon things that bring yourself a good report. I don't care what they're saying. I don't care what you see. But in reality, what the creator has already told you, because realistically, all of this is just an illusion. We're really spiritual beings having a human experience, and it's all a part of it. So even if you're in separation with your divine masculine, and your divine masculine does not get it together in time for you to come into this union, know that you have other divines. You do, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear that because um, they're focused on who their heart is for. But a lot of these divine masculines were really soulmate karmics. They're soulmate karmics. There is a such thing, something to teach you something. Because I have to tell you something. The last guy that I was in some type of serious relationship with, I just knew that he was my soulmate. But I come to realize, and I come into the understanding that he was just a karmic soulmate or a karmic twin flame. He wasn't supposed to be my life partner, but I started my YouTube channel based on all of the shit I was going through with him because I had so many questions. So, sometimes we're put in people's lives just for a reason, a season, or just to learn a lesson. But regardless, stand in your power. Don't be moved, because if you're moved by every little thing that you hear and see, you'll never move towards your objective, which is your heart's desire. And it can be done, okay? So I really do appreciate you guys for listening to Brown Eyes. I hope this resonates with you guys. I hope it encourages you in some kind of way. I hope you go within. I hope you stay within your secret place and know that you are the magician of your life. You can manifest what you desire. It doesn't matter what everyone else is going through, because they can go to hell and you can still go to heaven. They can be gloomy and gloomy and you can be sunshiny. It's all about your perception, and you need to keep your perception and your vibration high so that you can receive all of those beautiful, amazing things, because you are so worth it. So remember, so as a man thinketh in his heart, then so is he. We are to think upon things that bring us a good report. We are to speak things that are not as though they were already. Thank you guys so kindly for liking, subscribing, and leaving me a comment perhaps. I really do appreciate the thumbs up, and I will talk to you guys another time. Bye.